Good morning. Can anybody hear me? Yes, maybe. Okay. Can anybody hear me? Yes. Okay, one person. Okay, good. I'm writing down who's here because I have to keep track of it. Okay. All right. I'm kind of stalling till 9 o'clock comes, and then we'll see who's here, and we'll get started. Okay. All right. Okay. Comments here. The second week is almost done. Okay. Oh, I got 10 people here. All right. Okay. Let's see. Make this louder. Okay, Paige Waller's here. Okay. All right, so we're going to do this once a week. I'm not going to lecture during this time. I'll answer questions. I'll say some other things like, you know, some hints. Make sure you look at this. Spend some extra time with that. I will share screens with you to make sure you've noticed things. This is a good time to bring up problems. Sometimes I put links that don't work or I forget to tell people crucial information, like when you're not on campus, the animations don't show up unless you log into the library thing. And so there's things like that. Let me go to, let me share a screen and see if that works and kind of look at what you should see when you look at our, oh, this is not going to work. Hold on here. Do you see the Moodle page or do you see the Zoom page?
Zoom page.
Zoom page. Okay, hold on. Let me try again. Sometimes I have to redo it. So let's try that once more. Where did the Zoom page go? There it is. Now do you see our Moodle page? Yes? Okay. So one or two people see it. All right. All right. So we have a schedule here that's a week-to-week schedule. Make sure you kind of check with that schedule. There's also kind of over on the side, there are upcoming things when stuff closes. You know, so things might be due or when things close. It's kind of important to kind of keep track of that. I will also send, you know, every week I'll be sending out some news things, and so like like the Moodle grading. Whenever I open a new assignment for you to work on, your grade will change and it'll look like it drops because however many points that new assignment is worth, it until you do it, it assumes you have a 0. And so I sent that don't panic thing out because I want you to know how that grade thing works. And so you can keep track of your grade, but know, okay, my grade isn't plummeting. He's just opened new assignments. And when I open new assignments, that's what happens. So then these study guides, these have the list of vocabulary words. And if you've been looking at them, you know, every week there's anywhere from 30 to 50 plus vocabulary words. And this is the problem with anatomy. It's a huge memory exercise. And every week I'm giving you all these different words. Every week I'm giving you all sorts of different stuff to look at. And so we have to keep up with that. And so that's one of the problems. And then there's going to be, short lectures and then these animations. Okay. When you're at home, these animations, it'll just be a yellow box and you'll have to scroll down in here and enter your login information from the library. So that's your, your student ID stuff and your login password. And then these things will pop up. And these two, I'll try and make sure they're short so that you can see these in short bits and then go get a snack or whatever you want to do. Or and so I'll try and keep these short. Sometimes I'll put movies in there. They'll be maybe 20 to 30 minutes. And so then the quiz and the forums show up. Make sure you do the quiz and forums each week. Usually that stuff is kind of, the quiz, you can take that as many times as you want. It's only going to record the highest grade. So take it more than once. Don't settle for a 5 or a 6. Just keep taking it till you get 10. Okay, and so that's part of your grade. All right. So let me think who else is here. So this is where I'll kind of give you some pointers and how you can do things better. You can ask questions. I'll also sometimes share other things. And so like here today, let me share this one. So do you see how much time did you spend studying A&P this week? Anybody? Yes? I can't see.
No, it's not on share.
Okay, hold on. Show taskbar. Okay, hold on. Let's try it again. So I'm trying to share a PowerPoint slide. Do you see it now? Anything? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So you guys are going to be professionals. You're going to be nurses, physical therapists, occupational therapists. This is kind of it's not in your major, but it's kind of a prerequisite for your major, and it's going to be the core of your courses. Learning the anatomy and physiology is really important, and you need to do it before you become a nurse, before you become a therapist. I was a procrastinator in high school and college. I would procrastinate. I would wait till the night before, and then panic would help me spend hours and hours and hours studying. And that's not really a good way to do it. And eventually I figured that out. Eventually I figured out I was better off spending small chunks of time, more regularly. And so it's not that you have to put in 2 hours every night, but you should be putting time in every night. And this is, let's see, did this go to the should have switched to the sensory memory, short-term memory, long-term memory picture? Do you see that? Yes? Okay, so in anatomy and physiology, we're going to talk about the brain. We know how memory works. We know that most of your memory is either sensory or short-term memory. And so what your chair is like, you know, how your clothes feel, what the room is like, who you were talking to, what I said in the last 30 seconds. Lots of your memory is doing that. And most of those memories disappear over time. Okay, but some stuff winds up in long-term memory. Okay. And long-term memory is what you need as a nurse. It's what you're going to need as a physical therapist. And you're going to need a long-term memory about anatomy and physiology. And really the key things here are repetition and association. And so it's not that you need to spend 2 hours concentrating on this. You need to see it 20 or 30 times. And then it becomes a part of your long-term memory. It's it's why advertising works. Nobody's paying attention to the to the commercials that pop up in YouTube or on the TV, but they just repeat these short messages over and over and over again, and eventually you know what they are. You'll know their slogan. This is how memory works: repetition and association. So to improve your memory and to improve your ability to recall something, you have to recognize, I need many, many repetitions. I can't read this once and expect to remember it. I have to go over it a bunch of times. I have to see it a bunch of ways. I have to link it to other things. And so if I write it, if I hear it, if I say it, if I see it somewhere else, if I'm doing something that involves it, if I can link it to previous experiences, I'm much more likely to remember it. But if to just look at it in a book and try and remember it from the picture, that's very, very hard, and most people can't do it. But if everybody can do it, if there's repetition. And so, the thing is, to these books, nobody can read this. Nobody can read this like in a 2-hour thing to try and read a chapter or 2 chapters. It's just super boring. It's meant to be looked at in short little gaps. And so 15 minutes, go do something else, come back, look at it for another 15 minutes. That's how it's meant to be done. And so, I would study with a timer, and, I'd set the timer for 10 minutes, study for 10 minutes, timer goes off, then I go to the refrigerator, see what's on TV, check out the cabinet to see if there's any cookies in there, and then I'd go back and set it for another 10 minutes and sit down and do that. And so that's really how to study with this. Don't wait till the night before the exam. The chapters are so long. It's just like, you can't remember that by just looking at it. Nobody. It's meant to be gone over and over and over and over. Okay. So, it's the way it works. so I'm sorry, but that's how you have to do it. Does anybody have any questions? Okay. So I think key things are vocabulary, just knowing the words. So that list of words that you get in the study guide, that's important. Those words are pretty specific for anatomy and physiology. You may have heard of them before, but they have a specific meaning in anatomy and physiology. So it's important to know those words. Go over things multiple times. Each week we're going to go kind of at the same pace. So it's not going to get much harder, but it's going to go at the same pace. So every week there's going to be 30, 50, 50 words and 20 or 30 big ideas. So that's what we got. You're going to have a quiz and a form each week, and then about an exam every 3 to 4 weeks. The exam is worth quite a bit more. You only get one shot at the exam, but the quizzes, you get as many shots as you want. In lab, there's always going to be an assignment and a quiz. I'm late to get the first quiz up, but I'll get it up there today. So there'll be a quiz up there today for this week's lab. So look at that, and that'll be due sometime early next week. Okay. Does anybody have any questions? Have all the links worked? Yes. Okay. I'm going to try and keep the lecture short, 5 to 7 or 8 minutes. Every once in a while, there'll be one that goes longer. And so I'm trying to get you used to studying in these small groups or small 10-minute, 15-minute gaps, and then take breaks after that and come back to it. What else here? Forum labs. We'll have more for you to do at home for the labs coming up. So some of the labs are going to be mostly at home. There'll be a lot of memorize this, which will mean practice in small bits of time. There'll be dissection at home. And so for that, you'll be, again, submitting photos. I'll try and get through all the lab photos this week and the forums. I also wanted to say a bit about grading. So some stuff is graded automatically that, like the Moodle quizzes, usually I don't have to do too much to grade those. It's the writing them that's hard. But when I have to look at things like forums, your forums, I'll wait till the due date comes and then I'll look at them all. And so usually you may put your forum in early and it might be a week or so before I grade it. Sometimes I'll make comments earlier and sometimes I'll grade things earlier, but I'll grade them all kind of at, after they close. I do accept late assignments and late submissions. However, then those get to be something that's hard for me to grade because I have to go track them down. And so they don't wind up in the same place. And then I have to look for them. So then when you turn in something in late, the grade is likely to take longer to get. Usually I'll try and have stuff graded within a week after you turn it in. And so, especially when there's lots of hand grading, that's when it'll be. So, so just be aware of that. Okay, so we'll do this again every week. I'll try and have some additional materials for us. I want to say stuff about the forum. For the forum, when you're like this week's forum on the lactase persistence, which is an enzyme, a protein enzyme, which it's a change in DNA that causes that to happen, and it allows us to digest a specific chemical that otherwise we can't. It's mentioned in the textbook, and it's kind of a nice story. And then there's a connection to some of these crazy guys that are doing stuff, and so it's easy to remember. Those things, what I really want you to understand is the anatomy issue. And so the anatomy issue is enzymes are produced because of DNA. Changes in DNA affect the enzyme. And so those changes in DNA, those are things we inherit. And so they tell us where they came from. And so make sure you look at that and read it, and then you can respond to it in an intelligent way. And so usually I'm looking for 4 or 5 sentences that kind of explain something. Okay. All right. Any last questions? Okay.
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay.
When is the lactose forum due?
It'll say on the side. Let's look. I'll have to share the screen because I don't know offhand. So that's going to be over here. So let's share that. So the lactose forum, yada, yada, yada. I don't see the date on it. There's quizzes that close. First quiz closes tomorrow. The second quiz also closes tomorrow. So then the forum, let me look at the forum. That's somewhere down here. I don't know when the date is on that. Sometimes I don't have a date on that. It doesn't say. Assume assume it's the end of the weekend. But if it had a date, it should come up here. Restrict dates. Okay, I'm gonna change something so that I can go and look at the date. All right. Closes the 31st. I don't know why the date didn't come up. The 31st. Most things will close as the next week begins. Okay, that's a good question. Anything else? Okay. All right, so we're starting chapter 3. I'll start posting some of that stuff later this afternoon, and more of it will be posted on Monday. That's the hardest chapter in this first section. It has the most material. And so spend some extra time in this next week on chapter 3. It's a big, long chapter with lots of things to remember, more new stuff than maybe the first 2 chapters. Okay. Thank you, and I will post some grade stuff on here, and I will post the recording of this online so that you can see that in our thing. Okay. All right. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.